Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Just hang on in a bit. We're waiting for more attendees to join us. Thank you so much.
Okay.
A very warm welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today, right over here for the Skills Future Month 2021. My name is Karen, and I'm very delighted to be your host for today. So everybody, Skills Future Month brings forth an exciting myriad of opportunities for you to discover how you can enhance your skill set as well as employability. With more than 130 interactive learning events lined up especially for you, you will enjoy unparalleled access to a wealth of knowledge from our network of partners. Be it that you're looking for a job, to upgrade your skills, or just simply give yourself that competitive edge, Skills Future Month is the perfect opportunity for you to get a head start on your lifelong learning journey. Now, this event also provides you easy access to information on how Skills Future, as well as the SG United Jobs and Skills Package, can help you to stay relevant in the new economy. Now, Skills Future Singapore and NTUC Learning Hub are glad to bring you this exciting online learning experiences. Do stay all the way to the end because we do have a post-webinar survey where 2 participants who complete the survey will win $10 fair price online vouchers. Today we have with us Joshua Lee. He has over 10 years of experience supplying IT solutions and expert advice, developing a broad expertise, which he uses to develop customer-centric solutions. And today, he will be telling us more about the new normal of business with automation. Now, I see that a lot of you are already utilizing the chat function. Fantastic. But of course, if you've got any questions, please use the Q&A function because, as you're more and more of you are using the chat function, we may just miss out those important questions. So do use the Q&A function to post your questions and we will do our best to answer them. So without further ado, I'll hand the time over to Joshua. Joshua, please.
Oh, hi, everyone. Thanks for taking your precious time to attend our webinar. Today, we'll be talking about the new normal of business with automations. My name is Joshua, and I'm the Digital Transformations Consultant from Activance. And Activance is a leading business process automation specialist with over 20 years of experience. Today, I'm also joined by my colleague, Jeremy, who is also a product specialist who will perform the business automations demo later. Okay.
So of course, everybody, as we are fixing up the technical issues right now, once again, thank you so much for joining us here. We still have many of you who are streaming in right now. So today's session is actually the new normal of business with automation by Joshua. And later on, he will be joined by Jeremy as well. So once again, everybody, if you've got any questions, then be sure to use the Q&A function at the bottom, okay, to post down all of your questions. And of course, we also have a post-webinar survey. So do stay all the way till the end, please. Joshua, is your site ready?
Just for a while first.
Okay, sure. So of course, everybody, as you're enjoying today's session, you can always visit www.skillsfuturemonth.sg because we've got loads of upcoming free webinars that all of you can sign up for. So don't miss out on all of that as well. And of course, in celebration of NTUC's 60th anniversary, NTUC Learning Hub continues to provide care and protection to members by providing upskilling opportunities. So if you are an NTUC member, you can actually enjoy the exclusive L-Hub Go Grow 60 to support your lifelong learning journey. For a limited time only, instead of paying the usual price of $26 per year, NTUC members can now enjoy 60 popular courses for just $6 per year. So if you'd like to find out more, simply click on the website link available in the chat box to find out more. Joshua, back to you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we start off with what does automations means. I believe that many of you may come across the words automations a lot of times. So what does automations really means in this context? So, and different people may have different perspective of what automations is about. And some may think that automation is about deploying robots in assembly lines for manufacturing plants. And some may see automations as workflow automations that can perform repetitive tasks to minimize errors. For example, workflow automations that transform existing legacies and manual business process, such as approvals, claims, requests, assignments, sending out emails, etc. Some may refer automations as artificial intelligence, machine learning, which can continuously improve the performance and the efficiency of decision-making process. And all these are correct, and these are part of the automations. But regardless of any kind of automations, the aim of automation is to boost, number one, efficiencies, and number two, reliability, which in turn will increase productivities. Naturally, we do not reach for such scenarios as depicted in the comic strips on the left side, where robots are bossing us around. Instead, we foresee that humans and robots can coexist, and robots should lighten our work by performing repetitive tasks or tasks that are tedious at work, allowing humans to have more time to engage customers, delivers a better experience, and ultimately grow the business. So there are two main types of automations. One of them is industrial automations, and the other one is software automations. Industrial automations basically use software and robotics to control and manage physical industry processes. It's much more applicable for manufacturing. Industrial automations can be categorized into fixed automations, or also known as hard automations. It refers to automated production facilities in which the sequence of processing operations is fixed by the equipment's configurations, which means that the commands are being programmed in the machines itself in the form of gears, wiring, and other hardware. And definitely there is a limit to design changes. This form of automation is categorized by high initial investment and high production rate, and is therefore suitable for products that are made in large volumes. Example of fixed automations includes machining transfer lines found in the automotive industry, like automotive assemblies, processes, machineries, paintings, and conveyors. The next category is programmable automations. It's the form of automations for producing products in batches, and the process can be changed by changes in the controlling software, which means that equipment can be reprogrammed and changed over to accommodate the new product styles. Production rate in programmable automations are generally lower in the fixed automations because the equipment is designed to facilitate products changeover, or rather than for product specialization. For example, like computer-aided manufacturing, the CAM, industrial robots. And the last type is flexible automations. It's an extension of programmable automations where automations allows on the fly to make changes in designs as compared to programmable automations. It offers less downtime. Some examples are computerized numerical control, which is called the CNC, Tesla manufacturing, Amazon warehouses. Let's say if you are from manufacturing companies, you may want to consider these type of automations as part of your lean operation strategies. So besides industrial automations, there's another type of automation which is called software automations. It's basically using software to carry out virtual tasks that are repetitive that a human would normally do in front of computers. For today's presentation, we will be focusing on software automations. Software automations can be categorized into business process automations or called BPA. It's a high-level strategy designed to streamline business processes. It entails the formalizations of business processes and their integration into software automations. As such, its implementations involve significant business restructuring. For example, ERP or enterprise resource planning, CRM or customers relationships management, applications integrations, and case management where some processes requires process routing and tracking. Another type of software automation is robotic process automations, which also in short called RPA, which refer to software robots that can automate repetitive tasks, often within software applications themselves. For example, data capturing from different sources like emails, PDF, Excel files, and images, and then based on the business rule set to perform validations. It can also help in performing banks reconciliations, processes, employee onboarding, and automated system testing. The third type is intelligence process automation, which in short called IPA or IA. It's considered as an RPA extension that leverage on artificial intelligence and machine learning to perform human-like logic and decisions making. I would say is more of a sophisticated processes handling. For example, intelligence assistance, chatbots with sentiment analysis and natural language processing, image analysis, and matching for recommendations engines. In these presentations, we'll address some of these questions. Is automation still relevant in the new normal? Some of you may think that automations can be done anytime, in the pre-COVID time, circuit breaker time, and post-pandemic time. And this brings us to the next questions on what is the correlations of post-pandemic and automations, and what are the problems that most businesses are facing in the new normal? And lastly, how can these problems be addressed by automations? To address these questions mentioned in the previous slides, I've made some reference to the research reports from McKinsey, The Future of Work After COVID-19, which published in February this year. McKinsey develops a novel ways to quantify the physical proximity required in more than 800 occupations by grouping them into 10 work areas. These areas are medical care, personal care, on-site customers interactions, leisure and travel, and home support. Indoors productions, warehousing, computer-based office works, classroom and trainings. This according to their proximities to co-workers and customers, the number of interpersonal interactions involved, and their on-site and indoors nature. If you realize that there are numbers that are tagged to these arenas, the top three are medical care, which score 87, personal care 83, and on-site customer interactions that score 76. If you are from retail and banking, they fall under these on-site customers interactions. If you are wondering what does this number have to do with automations? Well, McKinsey put it in this way. The highest score of physical proximity, the job in these work arenas are most likely to see greater transformation after the pandemic as the business model shift in response. And these jobs are most likely to be disrupted in the future. For example, the on-site customer interactions arena includes frontline workers who interact with customers in retail stores, banks, post office, and among other places. Work in these arenas is defined by frequent interactions with strangers and requires on-site presence. Some work in these arenas migrated to e-commerce and other digital transactions, a behavioral change that is likely to stick. The leisure and travel arenas is home to customer-facing workers in hotels, restaurants, airports, and entertainment venues. Working in these arenas interact daily with crowds of new people. COVID-19 forced most leisure venues to close in 2020, and airport and airlines to operate on severely limited spaces. So in the longer term, the shift to remote works and related reductions in business travel, as well as automations of some occupations such as food service roles, may curtail labor demands in these areas. So from the previous research reports, what are the current trends that we are seeing during the post-pandemic time? There are three trends that are identified by McKinsey research. First trend is that remote work and virtual meetings are most likely to continue, but less intensely than at the pandemic peak. And the second trend is COVID-19 may propel faster adoptions of automations and AI, especially in work areas with high physical proximity. And the third trend is that the mix of occupations may shift with little job growth in low wages occupations. And the next thing that is from McKinsey research is that there's a change in consumer behavior. Many consumers have already discovered that the convenience of e-commerce and other online activities during the pandemic. And the reports that you see here is based on last year, 2020, from 8 countries: UK, China, is it the same slide? I think this one. Like UK, China, United States, Spain, Germany, India, France, and Japan. The bar chart of these countries indicated that the share of e-commerce have already grown to 2 to 5 times at the rate before COVID-19, which is the year is between 2015 to 2019. And there's also an indication that roughly 3/4 of the people are using digital channels for the first time during the pandemics, and they will continue to use them even during the post-pandemic and in the future. This is according to the McKinsey Consumer Pulse surveys conducted around the world. This is another research report from McKinsey on the adoptions of technology during the pandemic's time, like digitizations and automations. These insights are based on the last year's September survey, where 800 executives from all different industries in 8 countries have contributed to the result of this survey. Let's focus on the last bar chart with results on the right-hand side. So as you can see, around 67% of the companies have already accelerated automations and artificial intelligence. The adoptions that includes robotics, autonomous vehicles, AI-driven software, and workflow automations have accelerated during the pandemics. I would say this trend actually reflects automation's ability to facilitate contactless interactions at the time of social distancing and heightened awareness of hygiene, as well as cost pressures that may arise from the economic slowdown caused by the pandemics. And by now, you already have some rough ideas on why automation matters to a business entity. So how about in Singapore? Is it relevant? Let's move to Singapore context. According to National Business Survey conducted in Singapore during November 2020, 63% of the businesses surveyed stated that pandemics have a negative impact on their businesses. In Singapore, roughly, there are estimated around 366,000 companies registered in Singapore. So 63% is around 230,000, around there. And most of them have already moved to online e-commerce platform in one form or another. Perhaps you are one of them. You have front-end websites that front the customer's request, but your back-end process is still manually done, like processing the orders, communicating to others, departments, or even creating an invoice, creating reports, and approving requests. The survey also saw up to 80% of the repetitive tasks can still be automated, and between 18% to around 40% of these manually processes will contain humans' error. 63% of employees' time is wasted on non-productive time, and since everything is moved to online, customer expectation is that 74% of the users will expect 24 hours service support. Hence, there will be multiple tickets raised and multiple requests being sent over via email. And the amount of volume can be quite labor intensive. And these are the benefits of automations. The first benefits is error reductions. Workflow automations will save your times and resources spent on the rework. Second benefit is lower risk, where it facilitates the mitigations of risk of errors in repetitive tasks. And the third benefit is save times. Since the errors and risks are reduced, company can focus on the critical business issues rather than unnecessary workload. And this will lead to hike in productivities. For scalable, in terms of data flow from workflow automations, we can use it as a valuable insights that enable reaching a business highest potentials by overcoming hindrances. And best of all, better teamwork outcomes where effective communications, efficient coordinations, and easier collaboration is possible. Let's move on to talk about how to create values through business automations. Let's say if you are interested in automations now, and you ask, what are the processes that I can automate that can produce the best value outcome? And how can I proceed to find this value? And how do I quantify these values? And how these values are measured? I believe many of you may have come across this diagram, the value chain analysis by Michael Porter. We can start off by using these strategies tools where we can analyze the internal firm's activities. And the goal is to recognize which activities that are the most valuable to the firm in the category of either core business processes or support processes, and to find out which activities could be improved. And this is an example of value chain analysis for typical banking industries in Singapore, where the support processes are product development, risk management, technological development, and human resource. Moving to the core business processes, which classify into inbound logistics or fundraising. Those activities that are tucked under here are capital raise, refinancing, and savings. And that category is conceptions of products and services. The category is marketing sales, where marketing research activities like consumer segments and target markets fall under these categories. And the next category is service, where these activities are linked to administrative and account processing of operations. So after we have uncovered those activities in value chain, so the next thing that is we want to further know how does these activities interact and how frequent does these activities interact. So this diagram you see here is the process interactions map in the value chain. As you can see, market and research process will interact with the customers directly, and the info data can be fed back from the customers on the product and services. So this data will become the source of information for companies to conceptualize ideas and create new products design. So, and this information will further pass to manufacturing process to acquire the resources and to build the product. And this will involve procurement processes and so on. And these are the areas where we want to assess whether automation is suitable, and to find out if is there bottlenecks processes so that we can improve the margin by reducing bottlenecks and increasing the value by reducing times and costs. This is the return on improved performance, also called the ROIP diagrams. As you can see, it actually follows an S curve. In this S-curve, it shows that there's a negative value, there is a constant value, and incremental values. But what we are aiming for is definitely the exponential value. So when you decide to automate certain process, you want to maximize the value, maximize the return. And this example of value creations for reinventing the bank's teller job. This diagram illustrated how a traditional bank's teller job can be replaced by automated teller machines with ATM technology. As you can see, the traditional bank's teller job is broken down into different sub-tasks and activities. And these tasks and activities is either repetitive or variables. And it's also either fall under independent or interactive. Those tasks and activities that are highlighted in yellow color are best suitable for a person to do. For example, activities like greeting and welcoming customers, engaging customers in conversations. Just imagine, let's say that you have a customer inquiry and it's routed to the chatbot. It can be quite annoying, and this could lead to customer dissatisfactions and disengagement. So for those activities, those tasks and activities that are highlighted in green colors are best suitable for machines to do. For example, tasks like receiving customer requests for cash withdrawal, verifying customers' account balance, processing withdrawal, and counting and giving cash to customers. Because in terms of ROIP, it reduces the risk of errors by automating the financial transactions. And how about those tasks that are highlighted in purple? These tasks are best suited for if a person and technology can do together. For example, activities like detecting customers' receptivities to additional banking services and recommending and describing additional banking services. And sometimes these tasks can also be replaced by AI, or so-called artificial intelligence, or ML, or machine learning. This is the one of the use cases that we have done for one of our financial institutions, and it's a current exchange rate automations. This is where we configure a process automations to retrieve the latest exchange rate from two different FX sources, like from FX provider 1 and FX provider 2. So the automated process will automatically extract those values, do a comparison based on the certain business rules, and select the final and the best rates. Subsequently, it will update those values in customer systems and backend systems. The automation will also include attaching these rates and sending it across to different groups of recipients. Let's say if the process is done manually by a full-time employee, in this case FTE, which will require 30 minutes per update, and the employee I don't think would be updating every hours because it is time consuming. But if the process is automated, it will take less than a minute to complete. So from 30 minutes tasks done by a full-time employee down to less than a minute task is definitely a good value creation. This is another use case that we have done for some of the financial institutions. It's a report generations automations for financial institutions, where the process automations includes generating 20 reports on a monthly basis. We can configure the system to extract details from different sources and attach the reports to email and send it to the respective stakeholders. Our idea is easy to compute from these automations. How many hours a day an employees work on particular reports? Let's say if it's done manually by one full-time employee, so one report will require 1 hour, and 20 reports will require 20 hours a week. And when we accumulate these hours, that will be 80 hours a month. And 960 hours a year, an employee working on this on the reports only. Then you can check with your process automation specialist if you were to develop a system that can automate this entire process. How much will it cost? Then you can define and immediately compute the ROI based on the two figures. The number of hours the employees spend generating report versus the amount you spend to build the system to automate all these processes. How much will it cost? The difference will be your gain. And finally, we have come to a more interactive part of the presentations where my colleague Jeremy, who is our product specialist, will show you how automations can streamline loan originations process to increase efficiencies, decision speed, productivities, and even to enhance customer experience. We are using decisions and software, an integrated workflow and rule engines platform to build this demo. And now I pass the time to Jeremy for the demo.
Yeah. Thank you, Joshua, for the introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for attending for today's webinar. By the way, I'm Jeremy. I'm from Activans and I'm a product specialist. So a brief introduction from my company. So we've been in the software business for around 20 years. So we are actually a business process automation specialist, and we are building a servicing and origination systems from scratch. And we have a vast experience in using different business process automation software like the one that I will be showing to you later on the demo, which is called the Decisions platform. So as an introduction to my demo, so let me show you a small diagram. Okay, let me just quickly share my screen. Okay. Okay. All right, so I believe you're able to see my screen. All right. So as an intro to my demo, so let me show you this diagram to illustrate a simple lending system. So everything must start from somewhere. So your lead must come from somewhere. It can be from your lead generation system, like from your marketing system, can be from your brokers, partners, portal system, dealers like electronic dealers or furniture dealers, retailers, constructors. These are the ones that you call when you wanted to have a house constructions, and directly from the borrowers. So this is where all your leads are coming from. And then once we have these leads, the next step that it will actually go through is to another system for checking. So on my diagram, I'm calling this as a filter gate. So all your leads that coming from the other system will be filtered from your CRM, your leads management system, as well as ERP. So all these leads will be filtered to check whether you are qualified to get a loan, whether there will be somebody who will manually approve this task, and then there will be some formulas and business rules that will run at the back end to check your credibility. And once all these leads have been filtered, it will then now go to your origination system. Again, when the leads goes into your originating system, it will yet go to another checking, as well as it will go to your underwriter to check and approvals, as well as it will yet run another rules or some calculations to check yet another level of checking on your loans. So once the loan has been originated, it will then now pass to your servicing system. So this servicing system, it can be inside your in-house servicing system, or it can be outsourced into the other systems or other softwares out there. So now, as you can see, my diagram is quite simple. So this is like a simple lending diagram flow from start where the leads is coming from all the way to your servicing system. But we also have to think of these other systems, which our lending system will integrate to, like the payments, the fraud, the KYC system, and then the credit data where you usually check your credit reports, and so on and so forth. And aside from these systems, we will also interact with a lot of users, such as the borrowers itself, your underwriters, your compliance, your audit, and so on and so forth. So now we have these softwares as well as these users. We have to integrate this with our lending system, not just the servers above or the systems above. We also have to integrate all the users below and interact it with yet another systems in our lending demo. So as you can see here, all the interactions in my diagram here, be it as a system to people, people to people, systems to systems, none of these interactions knows any of the other. So as the data flows in this diagram, as you can see the arrow that has two sides, meaning the data is actually looking at or two directions, and sometimes you can see just one direction of the arrow. So, and it's usually hard for us, especially for the developers, to pull all this data together. And if so happened that if you wanted us to collate all this data, there is actually one software that we have to purchase, which is a bit expensive. This is what we call the data warehousing. So using the data warehousing, you will be able to collate all this data together. It's just that data warehousing software is quite expensive, as what I've mentioned earlier on. But there is actually a better way on how we can seamlessly integrate these systems and build workflows and rules and allow humans to interact with it. And this is what Joshua mentioned earlier on. This is what we call the business process automation platform. Okay, so this business process automation platform is actually a platform that enables the business users and analysts to quickly automate and optimize business processes. So it automates all or any of your business processes life cycles. So it also helps you to automate human-based and database interactions. So you will be able to create and manage business rules in this business process automation platform, and you can as well integrate your BPA platform into yet another systems easily. So to start with my live demo, so let me go ahead and share yet another screen. Okay. Yeah. So hopefully you're able to see my screen. So you should be able to see now the Agile Co portal. So in your screen, this is what we call the Decisions BPM's lending portal. So that the portal that you're seeing here is actually created using a BPA software or business process automation software, which is what we call the Decisions platform. All right, so in this demonstration, let me go ahead and demonstrate to you on how a borrower can actually apply a personal loan using Decisions platform. Okay, so to start with, let me go ahead and click the start. Okay, on this page, I was actually generating or applying a loan. Okay. Okay, so once I click the start, so as a borrower, I need to key in some of the data that's required for my loan application, such as the first name and then the last name, my date of birth, as well as my SSS number. And then I want you to focus on the address field. So as you can see, I only type in my my unit number or my block name, and immediately the system will populate all the addresses coming from its database. So the system actually connects into a postal services, where it retrieves the data like the city, the zip code, as well as the state. And it even actually automatically populate this data back into your form. So this actually gives a better user experience so that the user, as a borrower on my case, I don't need to type in a lot of data because the system can automatically integrate with the postal services, and these postal services will populate the data back into my form. So this means it will reduce a human typographical error. All right. So let me go ahead and proceed with filling up this form. Then I will proceed with the next form. Okay, so let me select that I'm a bachelor's degree. Going back to the next form, it will do the same. I have to enter my employer's address, and it will automatically populate the city, the zip code. Then I will type in my employer's name, which is Activans LLC. I've been in this company, let's say, for 2 years, and my monthly gross income is 4,000. Then I will go ahead and proceed with the next form. So in this form, I need to identify how much will I be loaning from this company. So let's say I wanted to loan for $5,000. And the terms of payment, okay, let's say we can choose 36 months. And the purpose of this loan is to improve my home, because all of us now is actually working from home, and I realized while working from home, I need to fix my room. Okay, then I can even select the payment method from here. I can choose to pay auto pay or to pay via invoice. But let's just say I'm going to pay it via auto pay. So then the last stage that I will be doing is actually by agreeing the terms and conditions for this application. Okay, so let me go ahead and click next. So as you can see, as the system is actually reading or loading, so the system actually running the business rule at the back end. Okay, so all the data that I have entered earlier on, when I was keying in the application form for this loan, say for example, my date of birth, it will actually calculate at the back end how old am I, how much is my payment, and how much is the loan that I'm going to take to. So all these data are actually being entered at the back end, and at the back end, there's actually a business rules that's running that will check my eligibility to get this loan. And then once the eligible check has been completed, there is yet another engine that will actually run to calculate how much is the percentage of this loan that I'm going to pay, how much is the actual loan that they will be paying to me, and how much is the total payment that I will be paid for the entire 3 years, because I've selected the 36 months payment. So in this screen, as you can see, you don't need to actually interact with any human being. All you need to do is just actually get the data from my input on the loan application form, and then the system will automatically calculate the interest rate. Okay, so everything here is done at the back end. So all the rules, business rule checking, as well as the calculation, it is done on the back end. All right, so the system actually calculates the interest rate, which is 6.5%, the finance charge, which is 517, the total finance amount, which is the amount that I wanted to loan from them, and it will automatically calculate the total payment, inclusive of all the charges here. All right, so let's just assume that I wanted to take the loan. Okay, so now I'm going to proceed with the next step, which is The next step is actually very common when you're applying a loan, because we have to actually provide all the necessary documents that the bank is needed. So say, for example, our IDs, our proof of income, and then our address. So yeah, so this is actually what this next step is all about. So the bank is asking me to upload a driver's license. So let's go ahead and select this one. Okay, let me go ahead and drag this. So this is another good functionality of having a business process automation platform. So you don't need to submit a documents physically, because you can just submit documents virtually or in digital format. So let me go ahead and click OK. So the system at the back end will actually, there's actually a pre-check at the back end that the system does. And what we did here is we actually use the Google Vision to help us check and or validate whether the uploaded documents of the borrower is the correct document. So in this case, we actually eliminate the first level of checking of this document, because the system is able to help us to do that. For this case, as you can see, the system gives us an error that, are you sure that this is actually a driver's license? It's because this system is actually configured to use the US driver's license. Hence, it actually gives us this error because the document that I have uploaded is a Singapore driver's license. So hence, let's just go ahead and proceed with the next document, which is a pay stub. So let me just go ahead and use a dummy pay stub. So again, it does the same. It also checks and verify whether the document that I have submitted is correct, and it will give me the necessary outcome. So it gives a better user experience in the borrower side as well, because sometimes we don't know that we uploaded wrong documents. So in this case, yeah, so the system will immediately tell us, are you sure this is the correct documents or not? All right, so let me go ahead and proceed with the next activity. Okay, so this is actually the last portion on the borrower side. So we've already submitted our application to the bank, and we will just wait and see what will be the next step. So let me just share yet another screen to you. Okay, so on this another screen, so what I'm showing you now is actually the portal of the loan assessor or the loan checker. So now I am logging as a different role now. Okay, so on your screen, this is what we call the dashboard or the landing page, or we sometimes call it as a work queue. So as a loan processor, when I log in into this portal, I immediately know what is happening inside my system. It will immediately tell me how many applications currently submitted in the system, how many is awaiting for the documents, how many is waiting for the signature, and so on and so forth. So let me run through with you certain parts of this work queue or of this dashboard. So it will actually show or list down all the applications or all the items that is assigned to me. So immediately I can actually select the applications from here. And then if you actually look on your right side, you will be able to see different statuses of these records. So you will be able to see what are the uploaded documents for these records. You are able to see what is the current status. You will be able to see the other statuses that this record can enter into. Okay, and I wanted also to highlight to you that while we're running the submission of the application earlier on, at the back end, the system is also integrated yet with another system. So we integrate this lending system into the credit report system. So what is that? What it does is actually, once we submitted this application, So there will be a job that will trigger to capture or to get all the details on this credit report system and provide me that details. So just to show you that example, so let's just say, okay, so this is actually my recent submission. Okay, so when I wanted to check what is the details of this recent submission, okay, sorry, this is actually the Carson Hill. Okay, let me open and check what is inside Carson Hill's details. So as you can see here, when I go inside this case, I will be able to see a lot of information regarding this case. What is this case is all about? This case is assigned to whom? And when is this case is being submitted? And I will also be able to see the different statuses that this case underwent to. So as you can see, the current state of this case is verification of documents received. And earlier on, I tell you that this system is integrated with the credit checker system. So it actually automatically attached the credit reports, which is generated at the back end. So let me go ahead and show you the credit report generated. So it's actually downloaded here. So let me just open it for you. So this is actually the PDF records or the credit records that was generated at the back end. Yeah, so the system is able to integrate with other systems. So this one, in this case, it's actually integrated with a credit report called the Credit Technologies. So this is actually from the US. So in this case, say for example, in Singapore, we can integrate with the credit bureau to get your credit checker or credit data automatically. So you don't actually need to manually request for a credit report. So we can integrate the system automatically. Okay, so going back here. So aside from knowing what is inside the portal and what are the tasks that is assigned to me, so there are other things that you can do here as a loan assessor. So I will be able also to check all the rules that is applied in a certain loan. So say for example, for Adriana Edwards submission or Adriana Edwards case, I know that this loan goes or perform different rules while performing the checking. So when Adriana Edwards submitted a loan, it undergo to the pre-bureau knockdown rules. So you will be able to see what is the rules that is being applied here by clicking this one, as well as say for example, what is the result of the FICO rule. So you will be able to see it here immediately, without entering or without leaving into the portal itself. Okay. And I wanted to show you yet another portal where you can actually use this BPM tool to create your dashboard. So BPM or Business Process Automation platform, you are also able to use this one to generate this dashboard page. And this dashboard page is consists of your reports. To say, for example, the applications of loan by amount, you'll be able to identify the applications by product. You'll be able to identify what are the different statuses for your applications. And say, for example, if you wanted to check in individuals, say for example, if you wanted to check what are the records that has been declined, all you have to do is just click on this decline row or decline bar, and you will be able to see the details of those declined records. So in here, you are immediately be able to generate and see the reports inside your system. So everything you see here is customizable. It can be changed. The graph can be changed into pie chart, bar chart, line chart, and any charts that you wish to create. Okay. So going back into the story, earlier on, we have submitted Okay, let me just go back to my processor view. So earlier on, we have submitted the Carlson Hill loan application. So what the system can do here is actually, the system will trigger, okay, I will just select the records and then the system will trigger or toggle the DocuSign job. So when I click these records, what the system will do is it will send an email to Carlson Hill and attach in that email the loan amount contract and then together with the signature pad or signature line. So when Carlson here receives that email, Carlson will just sign the contract and then immediately once you click submit, that PDF file will be actually sent back to the Agile co-lending system. And then once the file has been sent back to the system, then that's how the flow ends. Yeah, so basically that's the end-to-end process of how we actually do the lending demo from starting to submission of your loan application all the way to the checking whether you're eligible to apply the loan, or from calculating how much you're going to pay monthly, as well as the approval and then all your approval of loans and then your signing of the contract. So this ends my demonstration for today. So over to you, Rachel. Hi, Rachel. Okay, so I guess Rachel is not on the live. So thank you everyone for attending this demonstration. If you have any questions, do let us know by typing in all your questionnaires on the Q&A. Okay, and then the floor is ready. Anybody who wants to unmute, they can actually speak up if they have any questions pertaining to the webinar session.
A very big thank you to our speaker and to each and every single one of you for being such a wonderful audience. So ladies and gentlemen, we're now at the end of the webinar and would love to receive your feedback. So once you exit this session, you will be shown a Zoom survey link on your browser. Simply complete this short survey and you may just be one of our 2 lucky participants to bring home $10 fair price online vouchers. Now, if you do wish to go for more in-depth training, then please visit NTUC Learning Hub website to find out more about their courses. For busy professionals who prefer learning at your own pace, NTUC Learning Hub has made learning accessible anytime, anywhere through an online learning platform, LHub Go. Also, remember to check out our other Skills Future Month 2021 webinars at www.skillsfuturemonth.sg and follow us on our social media channels to be notified of future events and promotions. Once again, thank you so much and have a fantastic day ahead.